Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kevin Gunn, and I'm coordinator of digital scholarship here at Catholic University of America Libraries. This workshop is being recorded and will be made available at a later date along with the slides. Today, we're going to be exploring the Gale Digital Scholar Lab. So let's get started. I want to give a special thank you to Dr. Sarah Ketchley from Gale, who has given permission to use a number of slides for today's presentation. Dr. Ketchley is one of the digital humanists who's available for consultation. One of the nice features of the lab is that there is robust support for researchers. So if you have specific questions, there are videos, workflow, documentation, and actual people to help you. So the novice researcher need not feel abandoned. I should mention that I am free to help you with your questions regarding working in the lab. Today's agenda will be to provide an overview of the lab, show some interesting features, and explore the lab while discussing the digital scholarship workflow. My hope is that you will find the lab less intimidating after this presentation. So the lab was designed for faculty and students to begin doing research in text mining. The lab is a convergence of thousands of documents, text mining techniques, and best practices in digital humanities. The advantage of the lab is that it saves you time in collecting documents. Sometimes that can be an arduous and time-consuming task. And it can demonstrate how to do basic text analyses without learning how to code or how to use the command line. So the lab shows you what you need to consider when doing text mining in the digital humanities. So it is a cloud-based content set creation and textual analysis platform. So you can save your stuff on the web and it'll be there when you come back to it later. It has a lot of Gale primary source collections that are purchased by your institution. So as an example, each university is unique in terms of the subscriptions that we get with regards to databases. So I'm using Catholic University of America Libraries databases, but if you're at another institution, your list of available data sets may be quite different. So each search will be unique in that regard. There are 6 GUI GUI-based open source tools for text analysis, and I'll show you them, give you a very quick rundown, and I'll even demonstrate a couple of them as we go in. There's an integrated learning center. Students can get started working on projects, and then there's actually a section where students can upload their projects and show people what they're working on. Text cleaning, it's integrated into the platform. This is very useful, this platform, is that you can build, clean, analyze, and download your results. It's really excellent. You can upload the text content to work in a platform. So text content and CSV content are the 2 ones where you can upload material. You can also download your visualization, statistical data, and content sets you built in your session for use with outside tools and projects. So you don't have to use the entire lab. You can just use part of it. For example, you can just build a data set with the available content, even combine your own with it, and then just download it and take it with you. You don't have to worry about, you can do your cleaning or your analyzing somewhere else. It's quite a lot, great versatility. So what Gale has done is they've basically gone out over the past few decades, and they've gotten a lot of original source material, usually microfilm, microfiche, micro rolls, that sort of thing. And what they've done is that they've scanned it electronically, and they put it into raw OCR text. And what that is converted that raw text into OCR character recognition, which is good, but it also has challenges. And the lab is great because it shows you, for example, the OCR confidence that it has with regards to each document that has been scanned. So some documents may be close to 100%, meaning there's no errors in there, to documents that were horribly put into microfilm and then were just scanned. So the OCR is going to be very low, 40% or something like that, where you'll have a lot of mistakes in that. So it's good to know the original source document that you're working with, not only in content, but also the format. So once you've got the OCR text, you can do statistical analysis with the 6 main tools. And then once you've done that, you can do the visual output and pull up, for example, here's a word cloud that you can use in your research, your final paper, or whatever. So another feature is that you can upload your own content. The limit is 10 megabytes at any one time, but you can upload multiple 10 megabyte blocks. So you basically, I don't know what the upper limit is, but it's a lot. These documents have to be in the TXT format. You can add your own content, build data sets with it, clean the data set, and analyze it. So you do not have to use the entire lab. So if you were working on a project where you just needed the data set cleaned, you can do just that and use their parameters. And I'll show you how to do that. You can combine your sets with Gale sets, and there are Gale primary sources components available in that. So we've got a lot of versatility here. So one of the nice features that they have sample projects that you can explore and work with and get a sense how the lab works before you dive into your own research. So it's really great to just test your thinking and your thinking processes with regards to your project. So here's an overview of the digital scholarship process. You can begin with a research question, and this will lead to other research questions. And then this is very much an reiterative process. And when you're doing this, you're also going through and taking a look at the building, the cleaning, and the analyzing, and then the interpreting, and then going back and looking at your new fresh research question here. So with building, you refine the attributes of the documents you want, you evaluate the results, and if necessary, you redo the search. You can examine the OCR results, and if necessary, exclude some documents that have poor OCR, for example. Your next step is going to be cleaning, and you can shift to cleaning OCR and the major attributes that are available for that. And then last, you have analyze. And so you can use the techniques that will be described shortly. It is important to look at the complete picture of your research project as you're going forward. So you want to select the right material, the original content. You want to make sure you clean it properly. And then how you clean it is going to impact what tools you can use to analyze it. So you have to be thinking of that as well. So these are the outputs that you can work with. These techniques have been around a while and are great entry points for new researchers who want to get started in text mining, teachers who want to teach these techniques to their students, and for students who are dipping their toes into digital scholarship for the first time. So we have two main sections here. One is the quantitative analyses, where you're basically doing a numerical counts. Parts of speech are analyzed through tagging, and that's often quite important. Most texts that are doing analysis in this way, they're annotated quite extensively. So next, you have named entity recognition. So that's how often a name is mentioned and where in the text. And then last, you have Ngrams. So Ngrams is how many times the word is present, does it collate with other words, that sort of thing. This next area is qualitative analyses. So you can rely on the user to provide the context here. That would be you. So sentiment analysis examines the negative or positive words presence in a particular document and in a set of documents. Clustering allows the researcher to bring their statistical knowledge to analyzing a document set. And with topic modeling, it allows the user to lump all the words in a data set into a list of 10 or so topics to understand what the document and data set is about. There's extensive literatures on each of these methods, and your research will probably use a number of these. So for example, if you're examining the works of Jane Austen, a research question could be, how often the words love and Mister appear in the same sentence. So if you would consider using the Ngram, you would consider using the Ngram method to answer that. If you were interested in how the word love is used in a negative way, then sentiment analysis would be the proper method. So you get a sense, what you want for output, what you want to know is going to be very much dependent on the tools that you use and also going back and how you clean the text. So in addition to that, for faculty, you can have a curriculum and you can talk about developing literacies in the digital humanities classroom. And here is an overview that Sarah wrote. And basically, you walk through the process of these different modules from orientation of a project, planning, collecting and curating and preparing. Then you're analyzing and visualizing, and then the final projects of that. So you can just quickly Google, digital developing literacies in the digital humanities classroom, and that will pull up her article on this. Another aspect that Gale has put forth is the Gale Research Showcase. So students can explore text mining, and if they have excellent topics and I guess good results, they can write them up and they can present them, and they can present them either by the subject area or they can demonstrate them through the analysis type. So if you're interested in named entity recognition, you can view the projects listed here and how students have worked on them. So you can get really some of the interesting ideas about how what projects you can get your students to develop. All right. So that's a very quick overview. And what we're going to do now is we're going to shift from Google Slides into the actual database. So there's two different ways that you can get to this. You can go to our library website, libraries.catholic.edu, and then from there, Research Help, and then Gale Digital Scholar Lab. You can also go just strictly from this URL there. So let's do the first one here. All right, so hey, if you're a student at CUA, you want to bookmark this page anyway, because this is where all our material, we can get started with finding and locating our material. So here we have search box, and you could search for the database here. Just click on databases, and then just Gale Digital Scholar Lab. That's one way to do it. What we're going to do is go up here under Research Help, and we are going to go to Gale Digital Scholar Lab. So I click on that, and it gives a quickie overview, my contact information, and then how to access the lab. So I'm going to click on this. And this will take you to this page. And you'll notice right here, login or create account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. And you have a number of ways to log in here. I find them kind of a little wonky. They're using the university credentials page. And remember this, you can do that if you want. I'm going to sign in with Google. And it's going to bring me to this page. So I use my CUA login, by the way, which is Google. And you can have a personal page or the working group. If you're working with other students on a project, you can all have a new workspace in a working group, and you can do that. So it's very much project orientated for folks. But if you're just working solo, I recommend clicking on personal. And you'll notice we're now in And we've got more options. And you can tell how you're in. If you look at the top right-hand corner here, it says signed in Kevin B. So that's where I am. So I know it is listed here. Okay, so we have general page here, and on a little research showcase. You may be tempted to start searching right away, but I would hold off on that. What you want to do is you want to go through the process here of building, cleaning, and analyzing. So we're going to go here. We're going to click on build, the first step. All right, so let me walk you around this page real quick. On each of these major platforms, if you will, they will have video here that will help you. So they've got lots of interesting material here, search strategies, understanding your search results and all that. So let me walk you through here. You have over here upload, so you can drag and drop your own texts. You can externally bring them in there and you can add them in. You can also create a text document from scratch, and you just, I'm going to click on that. And here it is. So you can cut and paste your own documents if you want to do that and put them in. And you can do all this metadata. So it's important to develop some basic metadata in here so that you can keep track and you're able to search for material that you don't lose and you won't end up losing. All right, so you have that. They have a template that you can use and that sort of thing, but I'm not going to show that right now. All right, so here we are. We're on the build page, and you can do a basic search here, but you know what? Do you know what you're searching? No? Then maybe you should do the homework first. So how do you do that? You go to view all limiters in advanced search. I'm going to click on that. And we have advanced search. And if we scroll down a little ways, look what we have. Selected databases to search. 25 different databases. Look at all these guys right here. But you know what? The Gale Resource Center, I think, has 48, if not more, listed. So we only have a portion of these. So it's always a useful tip would be if you know Gale has some sort of database that's very useful, you know, go to the website, look at what they have available, okay? And then once you've identified that data, that beautiful data set, you want to see if it is available through the Digital Scholar Lab, because a lot of their material is not. They have it, it exists, is available, but it's not available through the lab. So you have to be very careful about that. So you have all these data sets here that you can search. And by the way, all of these are available just through our Gale primary resources page. And you can just go in and just search American fiction and, you know, find results and do readings, whatever. And you can do that, you know, the quote unquote traditional way of doing things. If you're doing text mining analysis, you want to go into the lab first and then select the material. So we have different things here of search limitations. As you can see, quite a lot of different ways that you can limit your search. Now I'm not going to point out every single one of these, just to show you, you know, publication years, document types. It's always a good one. Look at all these. So you can search those, publication title, source libraries. So you can see a lot of different sources that they have called from different folks over the decades to put all this in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to deselect any of these. I'll just leave them as is. The second thing you need to know is once you've got that, so let me ask you, how's your searching capabilities, your searching skills? How are your Boolean operators? You know about and or not? Do you know how to use those? Okay, I'm going to assume that you do. How about proximity searching? It's here. So you can do proximity searching within these databases. And you can really get down into looking at different ways. So you can find terms when order doesn't matter. So here you have N5, if you're listing these words here, memory and repressed, regardless of whether repressed is first and memory second or vice versa. So that would restrict your search in various ways. And then you can use the WN to find terms after the first. So if you're looking shared with 3 values, so shared dot dot and then values, that sort of thing. So there's different ways that you can find material. So nesting is another way. So, milk or dark and chocolate. So we teach this, in our English 101 sessions and that to get started on it. But if you're not too familiar with them, I advise you take some time and go through and take a look at these various techniques. Quotation marks, my favorite. Anything which within quotation marks, wage gap here, we'll look for the phrase wage gap, which is good because that could be a good way. If you just type in wage gap, it could be looking for wage and gap, and it could be together or not. So you always have to worry about those. Another thing to worry about, special characters are wildcards. I love these. So if you're looking up Carib right here, it will return all these words, Caribbean, caribou, all that. So if you're looking up library or libraries or librarians, you do LIBRAR and use the asterisks. You have question marks, you can use those to substitute for each space for one character. And of course, stuff like this, color, finds color, that sort of thing. You'll notice this here, when you're in the cleaning phase, the cleaning platform, you can do searching where you're looking for color, so COLOUR, and you can replace that with color, COLOR. You see, so here you're searching for either color or color with OUR. In cleaning, you can reduce them just to one variation, so COLOR, for example. So there's all these little different tricks. And then ignored, right? Capitalization is ignored. Most symbols and punctuations are ignored. There is no stop words list in Gale. So the hunt for Red October is not the same as hunt Red October. So you got to make sure you're typing stuff correctly. Okay, so that is very much a quick overview. So assuming you feel comfortable how to search, then let's try something else here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to type in this thing, the Northwest Rebellion of 1885. This was Native, Indigenous people, Métis in Northwest Canada on the prairies back in 1885. They rebelled against the Canadian federal government, and history ensued, to put it mildly. So I thought, let's do a search on that and see what sort of results we can come up with. In this case here, they have a officially tagged, I guess, with comma 1885. So that sounds good. We know it's the right one. And we're just going to do, we can restrict our searching in different ways. So subject, document title, whatever, that sort of thing. I'm just going to leave it as keyword, and we'll do a search and see what we get. Okay, so here we go. Here are our results. And now we have to sort of examine our results. Let's see if I do that. So you notice right away we have the results listed on the left-hand side. We have the OCR confidence recognition button here. So I'm going to click on that, and it'll explain to you OCR and what's happening. And this could be, they'll explain to you, well, why do we only say 85% for this document? It tells you that the original document may have been pretty bad, could have been a type of text like it's handwritten, that sort of thing. So the year the original document was created and that. So like I said, they're pulling a lot of stuff from microfilm and that, and sometimes the microfilm wasn't the best, and then sometimes the original document wasn't the best. So you get lower confidence levels with documents that you have. So scrolling here, you'll notice they'll give the publication type, the times, and the Times Digital Archive, which is the Gale source, and then the source library where they're pulling from. And as you can see, different newspapers and that sort of thing. Now, if we wanted to take a look at filtering our results, we can look at the archives, and this gives a couple good things. One is it tells us that about, where most of the materials come from. In this case, 19th century US newspapers. There's a few Times Digital Archive, which is very interesting. And then there's one from the indigenous peoples of North America. So yeah, kind of some interesting things. So if you just want to look at those documents, you can click on that and you can go in and look at those. You can look at the content type. So in this case, they're all newspaper and periodicals. And they even break it down, in this case, articles and obituaries. We want to revise our search. It's very interesting. All right. I just do Northwest Rebellion. I will get much more here. In this case, 146 hits. Okay. So here's what we have. Now we can start building our data set. So what you get, and this is another great feature of the lab, is that it will show you the actual document, scan document, not the original document, but the scan document right here, and it'll be here right in the middle of the page. And you can go in and you can take a look. And here it is. Okay, so here it is, talks about from Toronto, and it lists all this, little notes in that. You'll notice on the right-hand side, the OCR is only 66%, and you can tell, a lot of the words just aren't made out correctly. So there's a lot of cleanup in here. So you have to make a decision here. Do I want to spend my time cleaning this up, or do I want to just drop it from my set? Obviously, if this is a valuable document, then you're going to have to clean it up. And at least if you're going to correct it, you have this listed here. You can have this, cut and paste into a text file and then put it next to this and then go through and clean it up. So cleaning can be quite arduous depending on the quality of your source. All right, so I'm going to just pop that out. There it is. If I look at archives again, you'll notice a bit of the same content. Here's this newspaper. It's very interesting. And then articles and obituaries. I did a search earlier and I was actually getting some monographs in that. So I find that kind of interesting. But anyway, I'm going to leave that as is. So let's say, for the sake of our argument, that we're going to take all these. I'm going to select all these, and it says select all 146 results. It selects the first 100, and then on average takes about 1 minute to add or remove the maximum of 10,000 documents to a content set. So just to let you know, I'm just going to do all of these, okay, just 100. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to a content set right up here. And I'm going to click on that. And I can add to stuff I've done before, or I can create a new content set. In this case, I'll say September 20th, Northwest Rebellion. There it is. So I just added just the 100 list there. So that's basically how you build a set. And like I said, the better quality material documents that you put in your data set to begin with, and at the building phase, the less you'll have to worry about cleaning material, cleaning it all up. So what we're going to do here, so our next step is going to go to clean, the top right-hand corner here. And now we're on the clean page. Again, you have your how to clean it, develop a cleaning configuration and apply that sort of thing. You can write notes about what you are including and excluding, that sort of thing, which is really good. Here, excuse me, here you have the default cleaning configuration. And if you scroll down, you'll see some boxes that are clicked. So line breaks, tabs, spaces between words. If there's more than one, then it'll clean it up. So you have a lot of interesting material here. So if you turn on all options, that may not be the best way to go. So here we have text modification, right? So if you're doing all lowercase, that may be fine, but if you want to do topic modeling on your data set, that's case sensitive. So you're going to skew your results right away if you say, well, I'm just going to select everything on this list. So you have to go through and take a look at everything. So I'm just going to leave this as is. Should also mention, if you're doing named entity recognition, if you're looking for Mr. Smith, for example, you don't want to lower the you don't want to use lowercase because that could be confused with Smith as in blacksmith. So there's examples like that that I hope that you'll understand. When you make a decision, there are ramifications that you may not see. So here we have characters, ASCII characters, remove all number characters. That's good. Special characters. So what do you have here? So set specific characters. So you might find stuff in here that were OCR errors, or they're put in there, they're in the actual text, pounds and dollar signs, that sort of thing. And you don't want to worry about those, so you can take those out, and you can begin cleaning that particular way. If you come down to punctuation, you can again remove a lot of this punctuation and not worry about getting false results. If you're looking at spacing is always a big one, especially with Ngrams. You're always tokenizing kind of documents according to the white space in the text. So you always want to have one white space between words. That way it's not counted twice. If you look at document selections, sections, you want to remove the body text, remove all the specific parts of a particular book, for example, that you don't want to search. So these areas from the front matter to the index, you can get rid of those. You also have the section on replacements. So I mentioned the word color before, the different spellings. You can put in, replace color, with color. So that's another quick way that you can standardize the searching. That way you're not getting, 8 results for color with an OUR and then 2 with color, and then, that will impact your output when you're analyzing it. Another thing I would like to mention and point out to you is that sometimes when OCR is rendered, it will give weird output. So you may see something like, let's see, like that in the text, and you go, what is that all about? But then you realize when you're examining, it pops up at a whole bunch of other different places in your document. Then you realize, well, it's the OCR is substituting it out for, let's say, TH, for example. So if you know that error is consistent, you can use it against it. You can use this knowledge against it, and you can put in this and then convert to TH. So there's little tricks like that you can use. So I'm going to take this out and this out and this out. And as you can see, you can build know a lot of exceptions, you can go and take a look. All right, so I'm gonna do all these, remove special characters, remove punctuation. Do I want to use, yeah, I think I'll leave the punctuation in there, and then I think I'll leave the rest of it. Okay. All right, so here's what I've done, and now what I can do, excuse me. I should also mention, since you're doing um, text analysis, there are words out there that you don't really care about, to be honest. So they're called stop words, and you can take those, remove those in your analysis as well. So if you were to go to choose a starter list right here, you click on that, it will show you that we're looking at English words, which is fine. But let's say your document set, you know, it's going to be English and French in there. Then you want to select French as well, and then pull that up. And what happens is they'll put all the English words first. And then all the French words after that. So pas and partant and that sort of thing, parole. So very different ways that you can build your stop word list. All right, so we've got that. So I've selected my parameters in that, and now I want to do a new configuration, which I'll do up here, and I'm going to call it set 20 config. There we go. And I'll save that. So now I have my configuration, I have my data set, right? And this is what I have. And I should mention here, if you're looking at configurations, you can have a whole bunch of these different ones here. So after a while, once you get into it, you may want to write a description of what you took out and what you wanted to keep in, that sort of thing. So I've done my configuration, you know, and I've got my raw data set, if you will. Now I want to test my configuration. So I'm going to have my September 20th config there. I'm going to test it. It says, okay, we're going to look at the first 10 documents of your data set, and we're going to output it into, we're going to have you download it and take a look at the original and then a clean text file. So I'm going to select my little data set, and where did it go? There it is, September 20th, Northwest Rebellion. And I download that. And it has test clean, and it'll pop up right here. So if you have a large data set, then it's gonna be a problem. So I'm gonna download ready. And it cleans the first blah, blah, blah. So it looks like it's like, oh dear, it didn't work the first time, but actually what it's doing is asking you to go through the process again. And you'll notice that it's downloaded a zip file right up here. And it gives you two files. One is the original 10 documents, and the other one is the cleaned 10 documents. So you can put them side by side and then go through and see, well, that didn't work, or gee, that worked really well, but I missed something. And then you can go back and reconfigure it. So you continue to do that until you get to a point where you feel very confident that your documents have been cleaned. And that's the way to do it. So at this point, we want to go to analyze. So top right-hand corner, we go to analyze. And here's the platform for analyze. And if you scroll down, you'll notice, again, pardon me, on the right-hand side here, you'll have helpful content. Get you started. If you look down here, you'll have a list of the 6 main types here. Apparently they do plan to add more, but more tools to this, but I haven't heard of anything as of late. So anyway, so what do we want to do with our set? Do we want to look at the document clusters, how they're together? Do we want to look at Ngrams, sentiment analysis? Let's do sentiment analysis for fun. So I'm going to click on that. And it says default setup. I said, okay, that's good. And then up here, here's our original data set. So I'm going to go click on this and it's queued. So we are going to have to wait for a while. So if you're doing a few thousand documents and you're doing topic modeling on them, I highly recommend that you go have a cup of coffee or two, because it will take some time to do this. You'll notice here that has in progress listed here. So it's going to go through and take as much time as it needs to do it. And if you're really, really impatient, the page refreshed. Oh, good. So we have the runtime was only 5 seconds. Well, I think that was longer than 5 seconds, but you can now view. So let's go take a look at our sentiment analysis and see what we get. Very interesting. Okay, so you can scroll over these items and they'll say, well, that's kind of nasty. That's kind of negative, just a little generally negative, right? Because it is a rebellion, so there's not too many happy people on both sides, right? So, and writing about in the newspapers, they're going to have that sort of thing. So if I clicked on that, on this particular one here, tells me this basic stuff and the story. And if I wanted to, I can look at the document and see, oh, it's really negative here, nothing to report here, but there's some green here. So maybe there's something positive in there about that within this generally negative document. I don't know. At this point, it may be worthwhile for you to go open the document and take a look at it and see what it says there. So let's see if I can do another one here. Let's see here. Okay. Now, I'm not too sure if these are relevant, to be honest with you. And yeah, I'm thinking it probably has very little to do with our topic. So that is on you at the build stage. You're going to have to select documents and put them in that are relevant to your search topic. For presentation purposes here today, I wasn't as circumspect in doing that. So that's just to show you that you may get a lot of weird, irrelevant results, and that will skew what you're looking at here. So, all right. So this is one way you can look at, whether documents positive, negative, neutral, strongly negative, that sort of thing. You can also take a look at this other tool within here. And as you can see, given, strongly negative in red and strongly positive in green, where these documents land, they sort of seem to land right in the middle, more or less, a little slightly negative. So you get a sense of what that topic is, how it's maybe generally negative. So that's one way, sentiment analysis is very helpful in that. If we want to look at names within these documents, we could do named entity recognition. We have the same data set here. So I'm going to do run. Again, we're going to have the in progress. And we had 100 documents. So it may take a little bit of time for that to go through. So let me just demonstrate, if you are impatient, what happens. If you click on view, you get this page. So if you do refresh, you still have to wait. So I'm going to go back to our main page here. It's still in progress. That's fine. It's working away. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Ngrams. And let's see what we can do here. So who will win this race? So I'm not going to do all of these, but I just want to demonstrate what you can possibly see coming out of here. I like Ngrams because you get a sense of the words in the document, how often they're mentioned. Oh, here we go. Excellent. So here's the Ngrams. Tells you, okay, obviously Riel. Louis Riel, by the way, was the leader of the Northwest Rebellion. So it stands to reason, and yes, he is going to be mentioned most of all. And you can go through and you can look at the frequency, the term frequency, and they calculate that, that number of times Riel is mentioned across the documents. Let's see. So here, the number of times an n-gram appears divided by the total number of tokens in the content set. So there it is. So that's the chart value. You can also look at the count. So as you can see, quite large right here. If you did, let's see. I'll just type in Riel. So if I want to look at Riel and I didn't want to go through all the word listings here, I can pull up, Riel Rebellion. Was that relevant? Or as well as Riel listed here. Riel with a comma. Hey, didn't we do some cleaning before? RIEL in capital letters, Riel Rebellion, comma. You get this, you get a sense of this, right? So all the different ways that the OCR has shown Riel. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking for at a particular word. All right, if we wanted to look at the word cloud, what do we get? So here it is, the word cloud. So not very helpful, to be perfectly honest. Why? Because we haven't cleaned our text properly. Look at this, a dot here, a T here, hyphen, a dot, that sort of thing. So doing a word cloud is nice because you can check, you can evaluate how clean your data set is before you analyze. So I always like to do that. So that's just a quick demo there. And I'm going to go back and see if we do named entity recognition. And let's take a view of that. Little Ganda. And here we have, so anything in there that seems appropriate under these categories. We'll come over here, you. And here are the categories: date, time, geography, money, number, that sort of thing, organization. They will list it here. So it is not perfect. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. In Washington up here. Yeah, okay. So it's possible that a name can be a person, but also a geopolitical entity or something like that. So cultural group Canadians listed here. Where did I say Canadian cultural group here? So that's different ways that you can look, examine how the words in here pop out. If we do top 200 entities, if we did this and said Riel, let's see what we get. Okay. So here we have Riel the person, but he's also listed here. Here's some derogatory words. Riel 1870, that reference to the Red River Rebellion. And then Regina and Northwest. So you can see that it's not perfect. There's Riel here as an organization. So you get a sense of the documents, the text, by looking at how entities within the documents are named in that. So, all right. So that is a very quick overview. And I should mention, of course, the most obvious thing. Let me go back to view. So for each one of these, if you are say, yeah, I like that, it's perfect, you can download it here. And you get the option of like a CSV JSON, a zip JSON, whatever it is. If you're looking for at the word cloud, they'll have like a PNG or a GIF or a JPEG, that sort of thing. So depending on what your needs are. So that is a quick overview from beginning to end of all sorts of things you'll need to be aware of. My advice is just to practice with each part of the platform, work on your search skills and building, examining relevant material, then looking and practicing in the cleaning module, making sure that what you have comes out as a final product is something that is genuinely searchable. And then decide what sort of data analysis you want to run on this. Like I said, you can clean it all up and then export it out and not have to and put it, take it with you to some other text analysis tool that's not listed here and do it that way as well. So like I said, there are different ways that you can work on your project. All right, well, that's the presentation for today. Are there any questions? Okay. All right. I will then say thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you around. Thank you. Bye-bye.